Good afternoon, RCBC. My name's Mike Ciosi. I'm the president here at Rowan College, Burlington County. And this is our, second episode of What's Up Doc for the fall 2019 semester. I have one friend of mine that's been with us for a couple of iterations of this, Vice President of SGA, Delmond Wyllis. And I also have a special guest with us today, Alex Oeser. Oeser, right?
Oeser.
Oeser. Want to get that right, because this video is going to go viral just like the last two, right?
Yep.
So if you saw the commercial that we put together in advance of this, the goal was we were focused on gaming. And, no? Okay, sorry. Distractions all around. There's a lot of activity here in the Student Success Center. So Alex was actually the winner of the League of Legends tournament that the college held a couple weeks back, right?
Yep.
So clearly, if you're within earshot of me in person within the Student Success Center, there's a lot of noise behind me because we have a Super Smash Brothers. Is that what it's called? Super Smash Brothers. See, I'm showing my age. I know Mario, but Smash Brothers is a whole other level. So, hey Barry. So we're actually hosting a Smash Brothers tournament right now behind me. So there's, I don't know, maybe 100 students in the rear here cheering, and hear that? They're oohing and ahhing the activity on the big screen. So clearly video games have come a long way since I was playing my Atari 2600 many years ago. And maybe we're going to talk to Alex a little bit about how you got into gaming, where you are in the universe. But I do want to give a public service announcement as far as question incentivization. So our friend Jamie Young in the Follett Bookstore was generous enough to gift me a $50 Follett Bookstore gift card. So this is going to go to, under the presidential prerogative, that's a very special power that I have, whoever comes and asks me the best in-person question. So we have a microphone set up here. As a additional reminder, you'll be able to ask questions online directly through the Facebook stream. We will also be giving away lunch coupons to the best questions that are submitted that method. And thank you to all of the students who took advantage of the email that we sent out. I have, and Delmond has, 2 pages of questions that were submitted in advance. So we have a couple of gift cards for the cafeteria, and I have a $50 gift card for the bookstore. You can use it on anything. Books are expensive, or anything. $50. So please, if you're watching this and you're on campus or you're close enough, there's no line to ask me a question. So get here, and maybe you can get $50. So Alex, you are the winner of the RCBC League of Legends tournament. Tell the viewing world what's League of Legends, what's gaming, what does it mean to you? How'd you get into it?
So League of Legends is a competitive MOBA, is what they call it. Multiplayer online battle arena.
MOBA.
MOBA, yeah.
M-O-B-A.
That's the official title of the game category. You have 5 players against 5 players. You compete. There's 5 different lanes individually. Basically, you perform against another person, and then eventually the game sort of comes together, and you'll have like these large fights. And as the game progresses, like you gain these objectives, such as the towers, and then eventually you progress to win the game. Started playing League about 4 years ago. The game is 10 years old, which is crazy to think that there's a game out there that has existed for such a long time and is still just in this ever-growing state. But for me, it's always been a way for me to connect with my friends, because as people start to move away, it's kind of hard to get everyone together in the same place. So sometimes we just sit down at night in our evenings after school or whatever, and we just play some League. And for me, that's what it is. But also more recently, because I've been playing the game for a while, it's pretty competitive, and there's a ranked ladder within the game where you can progress upwards. And especially in North America, there's a pretty big scene for esports. As you start to get a lot better, that's something that you can look at. And for me, I'm currently around the top like 5,000 players in North America.
Out of how many?
Out of, I want to say 3 million that actively play ranked,
Wow.
and then I think League has around 30 million people who play concurrently every month. So
Wow. Top 5,000.
Yeah.
When do you start making money?
A top 300. So
Okay.
not quite there yet.
Got it. You're
We're
on your
trying.
way.
We're trying our best. Yeah.
And so explain to me, because I know nothing about. How do you get ranked? Is it through victories? Is it
Gotcha.
through progress in the game?
So every year the ranks reset, and everyone
Calendar
starts.
year?
Yeah, every calendar year.
Okay.
Around right now, actually.
Okay.
And from the beginning of the season, after it resets, you queue up. You play 10 ranked games, and then based on those 10 ranked games, they place you somewhere according to like how well you perform in the games and like win or lose, how many. And then after that, as you play games and you win or lose, you go up and down a rank.
And you can play any time of the day, like you can.
Yeah,
like,
any time of the day. Sometimes people play at 3 a.m.
Right.
and it's always a fun time playing with sleep deprived people.
Yeah, sleep deprivation, college students. There's a lot of overlap with those two.
Yeah, absolutely.
Demographics. So you're playing against people all throughout the country, right? And now, when you want to get online with your friends, what do you guys do? You text each other and say, "Hey, look, you want to play?"
Yeah. So
And
usually,
are you on a team, or are you trying to
No.
kill them?
So we're usually playing together on a team, but sometimes if you get too many people, because it's a 5v5 game, if you have like 8 or 9 people, that's not enough or that's too many people to have one team.
Sure.
So you can play like custom games versus your friends, and it's surprisingly competitive. People get pretty heated. It's always fun.
So what does practice look like, right? So I know if esports is this huge phenomenon now. Do you go and do push-ups in the gym, or do you go ride a bike, or like tell me how you practice?
It's weird because with esports, it's a different kind of thing, and it introduces another level of stress, I guess, in the fact that if you're a professional League of Legends player, there is no limit on how long you can sit there and play video games, really, until I guess you fall asleep or collapse from exhaustion. But like
Bathroom breaks.
yeah, but if you're practicing for football, it's physical. You can sit down at a computer and play video games for 12 hours a day. A lot of people do that, and they're not professional gamers,
Right.
So it can be stressful. A lot of the pros, they sit down and they practice 13, 14 hours a day, and that's hard on your body. But
What? So, do you envision doing this professionally? Like, is that a goal? Is that an aspiration, or is this a hobby that might pay off dividends competitively?
it's one of those things when you kind of have like just a distant dream, you're like, man, that'd be really cool someday. That's what it is for me. But as I play the game and I realize how good I'm becoming at it, and I progress in ranks, and I'm getting closer and closer to where I need to be, it's like when you start getting closer to a dream and you're like, there's no way that's real.
Right.
But like for me, obviously, like I'm going through my classes and I'm gonna get a degree. But if that becomes an option for me, if that opens up, that would be really cool, and I would take that in a heartbeat.
Sure. I mean, is your career focus to dabble in this space? Like are you a computer programmer? Are you?
Yeah.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I'm
guess?
a computer science student.
Okay.
So I'm looking at software development, engineering, and
Sure.
stuff like that. So if I don't break into the space as a professional player, then maybe I could crawl in there somehow as a developer.
Maybe you could make the next League of Legends or whatever
League of
it
Legends
is.
too, yeah.
Or just something totally different. I know the we were talking before we started, the guy, the Fortnite guy. He pulled down like $1 million jackpot or something recently, right? I mean,
Yeah.
League of Legends have paid tournaments, like so once you crack into that space, you could actually make money.
So with a lot of esports, the appeal, especially with a game called Dota 2, has been the prize pools because they crowdfund. And with a video game, you have people paying for stuff in the game all the time, and they would take a portion of that and put that into the prize pool. So the last Dota 2 World Championship, I believe, had a prize pool around 25 million.
Wow.
League World Tournament.
25 million. I could do a couple of things with 25
Oh
million.
yeah, split between 5 guys. I mean, hey, that's a nice 5 million.
25
apiece.
divided by 5 is what?
5 billion.
Okay,
That's
good,
not
good.
bad.
I wanted to test his math,
Yeah,
his math skills.
I lose track of it.
I know you're a video game expert. I didn't know if you were good at math too.
I try my best. But yeah, so leagues are usually a little bit smaller, around like 4 million. But the way they make up for that is the player salaries are generally like a lot higher. The average salary for a league player is around 400,000 in North America.
Not bad coin.
Not bad at all. And then obviously you tack on sponsorship deals. They stream on Twitch, make money from that, make YouTube videos. It's a lot of money. It adds up.
Sure.
So I think that's a little bit healthier of a way to go, to have higher salaries than just you only get paid a lot if you win. Because that way it's more of like a sustainable thing for like the average player.
Right. I mean, it's amazing to me to even find out when my kid's up in his room playing video games that when I was playing video games 100 years ago, there was no money. There was no internet. It was uphill both ways in the snow. And now there's this whole world where you can interact with people. Have you made friends outside of your people you know that live in your community, like online?
Yeah. So, because when you queue into a league game, it's anyone in North America anyway. So I have a few friends that I play with pretty regularly who are from out in California.
Right.
And I was actually thinking about taking a trip out there at some point in the future and maybe meet up with them in person. And that kind of thing is really cool because it's like, if I didn't have this, I would never have interacted with or met any of those people.
Sure. What would you say is sort of the demographic split? So is everyone that plays this game a young male, or is there females that play? Is there older guys and girls that play? Like,
so I think the demographics are like pretty far skewed in the direction of guys playing, at least in North America. But in other countries like Korea, like such a large percentage of the population plays that like it's mostly like just an even 50-50. As far as like, I think it is mostly younger people, but I mean my dad plays the game sometimes.
is he any good?
No.
No. You hear that, Dad?
If he's listening, I'm sorry.
Alex is roasting you, Dad.
I got my brother into the game too, and he's around 25, 26. So.
Is he any good?
No, he's not.
You hear that, bro?
I gotta be honest.
Alex is killing people. He just
I'm
killed
sorry,
his whole
I'm sorry.
family online.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
But.
You have to see them again. I don't.
Yeah. True. It's okay.
But when you're playing with people in Korea, is there like language barriers, or does the game sort of mitigate that? Like,
they separate you. So I won't queue into someone from the Korean server because when they're typing in Korean characters, I have no idea what any of that means.
Right. There's no Google Translate, Babelfish.
There's no auto translate in the game. Maybe that's an idea for the future. Maybe they'll have that. I don't know.
Well, I know. I mean, we were talking before we kicked this off. I mean, we have a transcriber that's remotely watching us that's doing it. So maybe there's money for you out there to transcribe Korean. If you speak Korean to our transcription service, you could help. But
just a little plug there.
Right. Well, cool. Anything? So are you? How's your semester going? Wrapping up?
Yeah. No, it's good. Getting a little bit stressed for finals and everything.
Finals? Oh no!
Yeah,
right around the corner.
Just some big assignments here and there, but it's all coming together.
Right. So you're a freshman?
Yeah, first year.
And I know you're going to be with us in the spring, right? Are you registered? Everything taken care of for that?
All good.
Good. Cool. Well, listen, thank you so much. What was the prize besides bragging rights for winning our league? Was there any prize?
There was a headset. And then we all got shirts, and then like the nice travel mugs from the student store there.
Cool.
Actually, after I got that, I was like, I didn't realize I needed something like this until I have it. So.
Oh, a reusable travel mug.
Yeah, absolutely.
Never leave home without it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, look, Alex, thank you for carving out some time to chat with me and educate me because I knew nothing about this. When we filmed the promo for it, our IT guy hooked us up, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, what is this? It was like keyboard and mouse, and I'm like, anyway, I'll show my age.
I'm glad to see people so enthusiastic about just gaming in general.
Dude, look at this. It's a Thursday. Finals are right around the corner, and there's a couple hundred people playing video games, and that's what this was.
Yeah.
That was one of the key sort of goals when we were designing this space. We wanted it to be activated. Yes, you're in school. Yes, you're going to class. Yes, you're doing a lot of work. Yes, a lot of our students have jobs. Yes, they have family obligations. But there's also an opportunity to have fun, relax, meet friends, meet peers, beat them up in video games.
Oh, yeah.
So it's cool. This is like when I see this. I mean, we fed them, so that always helps too. But no, this is amazing. So thank you. It
Absolutely.
was nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Good luck. And I think we're gonna. You can stay if you want. You can get in line and ask a question. There's no one that's asked a question yet. $50 to the best question as deemed by me. So I like your odds.
Well, I mean, if I'm going to ask a question, I guess I could just stay here.
You can ask whatever you want to do. So I think what we'll do, I'm going to wait for the signal behind me or in front of me as to any questions that are coming in live. But at the moment, we have nothing on the stream. Say it again. You got something over email? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So we'll jump into the questions that we got here, and then if something tickles your fancy and you want to throw a question in, go for it. So what's up? How are you?
All right, I'm fine, and you?
Good. How's your semester?
It's going great so far. It's almost done, luckily.
It's almost done, luckily. Right. That's the shared pain of every student. First week of December, eyeing up finals and eyeing up a nice break. You
Nice
registered
nap.
for spring?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good.
As early as possible.
Be like these guys. Register for spring now. Do not wait until late January when the other 4,000 people all show up here and they're not playing video games, I assure you. So, what do we got in the hopper?
All right, sweet. So the first question is, what happens to course evaluations after we do them? Are there any changes made because of the evaluations that we do?
So, yes, from an academic perspective, course evaluations are extremely important. They do a bunch of things. So I'll tackle them as they're asked in this question. So what do we do after they're received? So they're aggregated, they're provided to the dean, and then the faculty member, because they're anonymized, so the faculty member is made aware of the feedback. So it has a couple of components to it. The dean and the associate dean will work with the faculty member on strengths, weaknesses, because the whole iterative process of this is not just to air grievances, but to take feedback. And if there's a lot of people, a lot of students in a particular class that are concerned or raising concerns about a specific aspect about the teaching style, that's going to be a conversation. Long term, they are baked into the annual review process. And then they are for faculty who are tenure track, that goes into their essentially the binder. It is literally a binder, but of when they are seeking either a promotion or permanent tenure status. So it's definitely used. It's seen by many folks on the academic leadership side, the faculty member themselves. Your voice matters. I mean, that's the point of asking students to take time to complete a survey. So they're absolutely used. They're absolutely woven into making sure that the class is effective. Is effective. I mean, that's really the key goal. And as far as are there any changes made? Absolutely. If there's easy low-hanging fruit like and I'm going to make up an example, but the faculty member might be like they have a low voice and they can't understand. I mean, well, that's an easy one. Then they just need to make sure that they're vocal enough so that the student in the back, student playing video games, student half asleep, whatever, is hearing them. I mean, stuff like that. So it's a two-way street. Anytime feedback is received, I think our faculty are the best around, and I think they don't see feedback. I think it's constructive. I would hope, So yes, I believe changes are made both at the small level and at the longer term level once that feedback is in hand.
All right, sweet. All right, and the next question, what new 3+1 programs are we expecting to be added to?
Sure, so this is a good one. Now, as far as the answer goes, I have to keep it tight to the vest, but our partner in Rowan University recently committed to us to provide 2 additional 3+1 programs per year. So the way it works is we don't want to just limit ourselves to what those 2 are. So what my team's working on, both on the academic side and the enrollment side and the marketing side and the workforce side, is finding out the in-demand majors. So the expectation that I have is that the team's going to come back with a portfolio of majors, 5, 6, 7, and we'll sort of triage which ones make the most sense. There's ones that are easy to get off the ground day one. There's ones that require more of an investment from if we need a building, if we need lab space, if we need equipment, if we need faculty. So that's sort of the process that we have to go through. So as far as the ones that we're intending to launch for like the fall of 20, we're not there yet. I would say by spring we should have a little bit more tangible things to report out because that's sort of where we are right now. And there's a lot of work that our faculty have to do, a lot of work that Rowan's faculty have to do. There's this whole process. If the major exists at Rowan's side, that's one less hurdle for us. If the major exists here, but it doesn't exist at Rowan. So there's a lot of magic that goes into how a bill becomes a law and how an idea becomes a major. So I would say by the time we reconvene in February or whenever we do the next one of these, I'll have something more real to report out. But the goal is to have at least 2 more on tap. So we have 10 majors currently and have 2 more additional, at least launched in the public ether by fall of 20.
All right, sweet.
Cool.
All right, so the next question is, can we have a pull-up, push-up, or dips competition?
So I'm gonna assume a pull-up, push-up, and dip competition is actually 1 and not 3 individual. But if it's 3 individual competitions, or if it's 1 big competition, or 2 of one and 1 of the other, whatever it is, the best type of questions that I get at these is, I want to form a club. I want to form a sports team. I want to form an intramural this. I want to form a competition like this. So this is hosted in part through Office of Student Life. So my recommendation is to connect with either, you're on the SGA, so you're one avenue, but the first floor in Student Success Center, come talk to John, come talk to Adrian, and they can explain to you what the process is in getting something like this off the ground. I can do push-ups. It's been quite some time since I've done a pull-up, and I have no idea what a dip is. So I would have to. I'm gonna have to take the L on the competition. But if the person who submitted this question talks to Student Life, gets this off the ground, let me know through SGA. And we'll put some prizes into the hopper, whether it's gift cards, whether it's headsets, whether it's tank tops, because you have very big biceps after doing all those push-ups.
Show it off a little bit.
So, but yes, absolutely. Competitions like this sound fun. I think establishing demand is something that you work with Student Life on, student government, and we can get it off the ground. We can have it inside, we can have it outside, we can have it whatever location makes the most sense. So.
All right, sweet. So this question just came in over email from Thomas Bowen. Here it goes. I have seen many faculty members parking in student parking areas instead of faculty parking. I was wondering if the faculty is ticketed for this as students are ticketed for parking in their parking areas, and since they are taking away from student parking spots.
So since I'm hearing this as you read this for the first time, whereas these are the ones that were in advance. I have a little bit more of a heads up to respond to. The challenge is we have about, between all sections, between all modes, face-to-face, online, we have north of 700 faculty between our full-time faculty, our adjuncts, but we have 700 people who are teaching courses. We do not have 700 designated parking spots that are limited to strictly faculty. So a student parking spot is the same thing as a non-faculty parking spot. So my answer is going to be, if your car's registered with public safety, you have a sticker, and you're on campus, you can park anywhere, unless you are limited because there's a sign. So the goal is not to be ticket. Our goal is not to ticket anybody. Our goal, we do not see ticketing as a revenue generator, but rather as a park between the lines and sort of map your schedule out. The challenge that we're seeing, and it's something that my folks are looking at from a scheduling perspective, people come to this institution immediately before their class starts, right? Yes. So the challenge is, if the last set of classes hasn't anyway, I could go on and on for because we're doing a lot of logistically it's tough from a programming perspective. We have finite number of spots. We know the number of students demand. We know what we can accommodate from a classroom perspective. Parking is something that my goal is not to ticket anybody. So thank you for your question. If you think there's more to this, please email me, president@rcbc.edu, and we can definitely have a conversation, because I think there's a lot of feedback that is important on this topic. So thank you for your question, and you'll be in the running for one of our gift cards for a free lunch. So thank you.
Sweet. And I believe that's from Thomas as well. There's another question. It was recently emailed out that speed limits would be enforced on campus. However, there's no official speed limit signs posted on campus, only at the speed humps. What are the speed limits on campus, and will they be posted?
So, 52. I have a dyslexic person flashing a 5 and a 2, but I believe you mean 25, right? Okay. So the official speed limit on campus is 25 miles an hour. The challenge is, this is in response to feedback that we got through this forum, that I've received through the governance process, multiple senates. You're on the student senate, faculty senate, support staff senate, we are a small little city, and we have a lot of people vying for parking spots, better parking spots, closer parking spots, and people that are racing to get to jobs, get to pick up their kids, get to meet their boyfriend, girlfriend, etc. So speeding has to be controlled while on campus. We have a lot of people walking between buildings. We have a lot of people walking in the parking lots. So there are signs. I think that one of the things that we're working on is adjusting the height of the signs, because even our stop signs were at weird heights. And I know the intersection off of Briggs Road was one where, despite there being, it's a three-way stop, I don't think anyone ever stops there. I think people just cruise through. So we did a couple of things. There are speed humps that you've seen. There's also been striping that's been painted around campus. If you look to the right and the left of the lanes, there's lines that go horizontal. What we've been told from safety experts and traffic experts is, psychologically, that actually slows people down. So 25 is the official speed limit. We want to work to ensure that this is a safe campus, and that's going to be the goal. That's why the email went out. But like my previous comment on tickets, our goal is to ensure people are safe and traveling at safe speeds, not to be making money. So the best way you can help yourself and the best way you can avoid a ticket, adhere to the speed limit. So thank you for your question. Thank you. I'm going to do a drive-by later and make sure that there's signs posted if there's not, but it's 25, and that's miles per hour, not kilometers, not any other metric system. I don't know what the system is in Korea. So for anybody that you have from Korea who's watching, it's 25 mph.
All right.
So, thanks for the second question.
All right, and there is a third question.
A third question, same person?
I believe so.
Okay.
All right, so this one is, as a student of the Alternative Energy Technology degree program,
yeah,
I was wondering if there was any plans for a 3+1 for this degree. As it stands, this degree seems only to prepare students for occupations that would otherwise be obtained through certifications.
So that is part of the review and the methodology that we apply when we're expanding any new program. We look at what the labor market demands are, what the employability needs are, both regionally, nationally, locally, and that's why there's some degrees like our Associates of Applied Science degrees are, I don't want to say terminal degrees. Like a terminal degree is like the last degree that you would ever need.
Yeah.
Like a PhD or a JD or an MD, like that's terminal because it's the end of the road, right? You got your bachelor's, but applied science degrees exist because there's not a labor market demand for a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. So I'm not willing to commit to yes or no as far as this particular major ask, but I'll talk to the Dean of STEM and see where it falls, because it is one that's been talked about, at least in preliminary conversations that we've had at both senior leadership level and some of the academic meetings.
All right, sweet. So that was it. Thanks.
So you're in the
again,
running for one of our lunch tickets. Thank you for streaming us. Thank you for submitting questions. Do you have a question?
I do actually have a question.
Okay.
Okay. So I know there's been talks about potentially starting a gaming club.
Right.
And actually there's a meeting today I was going to go to after this regarding that. Looking at how Rowan has developed their gaming program with the team that they've created and all the interests around it, where would you like to see potentially an RCBC gaming club go to?
So yeah, I mean, I was definitely the announcement of Rowan University's eSport commitment was an awesome one, because it shows that there was enough interest, and not only from the student demand side, but that the administration said, wow, we have a audience that wants more of this, so it's our sort of obligation. So to answer your question, please keep me apprised of what, and John knows where to find me, and Adrian knows where to find me. So make like this, if you can create this kind of buzz, and it doesn't need to be during the day, it can be at night, it can be on weekends. If, like, my charge to you is, you show me that there's the same sort of demand for our student body, and I'll make sure to make sure that there's a commitment. If you need
Gotcha.
access to this, if you need access to one of our computer labs, if we need to repurpose one of our existing spaces, I work for you, and you, and everybody that's watching. So my ask of you is, and you can quote me on this when you go to the club, you can say, hey, not only did I win the League of Legends tournament, but I also just talked to the president who said, if you develop a case study, a business case that says, this is what we want, this is what we want to be able to do, and this is what we need, then I know what the resources that I need to secure are. There's some latitude that we have from student activity fee. So there's a couple of ways to skin this cat. So
yeah.
I mean, it's if you demonstrate that there's the demand, I'll make sure that we are accommodating, because it's not going away. It's not like you're asking me to form a basket weaving club. No offense to the basket weavers or the basket weaving club, but if there's demand and there's interest and there's enthusiasm and it's something that we can accommodate here, I would love to be able to support that.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
So that is the first in-person question. So right now, it might be cheating a little bit.
There's a lot of competition here.
But you are the only person in the running for the $50. So you might be a winner twice this month. We do have a microphone right here for anyone that can hear me. So come on down. Anything new via the stream, or do you want to jump back to the emailed questions?
Let me see. Nope, that's pretty much it.
All right, cool.
All right. So the next question that was sent in previously is, why isn't the cafeteria open on finals week, and why does it always close so early?
So, and this is one that you actually assisted with. So Delmond had a survey that went out. Everybody should have gotten it, right? You sent it to all students, right? What was the participation? You had a couple hundred people respond.
About 1,000.
1,000 responses.
About 1,000, yeah.
Half 1,000. Okay, that's 500.
Got some math here.
But we had 500 responses. Let me answer what I did with that, and then I'll jump into the question. So, as I told you at our last Senate meeting, and as I've communicated a couple times, both at the last What's Up Doc and at previous Pizza with the Presidents, the relationship we have with the food service vendor is one that we're still learning. We are only in this building. This is our second year in this building. So as far as right sizing the schedule and what our day students need versus what our night students need versus what everybody in between needs, I spent personally 5 or 6 meetings with the leadership of the vendor over the last year to flesh out things we need to do. And one of them was scheduling. So the survey that you conducted that had 500 student responses was shared with, so I had a meeting with them last week. They brought on a new general manager who's responsible for the college accounts, and I shared with them everything that we've spent the last year learning, days, times, volume. They have all the sales data. They have all, and I didn't hand deliver it. I took your survey and downloaded it and sent it to them and said, when we reconvene in January, I need a response. So I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit on the why does it close so early and why it's not open. It's not open. The schedule that's out there and the current schedule is based upon the writ large greater demand. And there's not been volume to justify keeping it open. And as a money-making operation that the college has a subsidy in, we need to make sure that they're making money all time. The challenge that I see currently is when you live what, 20 minutes away?
Just about that.
Okay, 20 minutes away. How many Wawas do you drive past before you get to campus?
Just about 2 of them.
2.
Yes.
Okay. And how many Wawas do you drive past? And
About
3. And I'm not picking on Wawa, but that is tough when you know Wawa. If you're a Wawa person, you go into Wawa, you push the button, you know what you want, you know how you like your hoagie, you know how you like your coffee, you know how you like your Monster Energy drink, you know how you like whatever. So breaking those habits seems to be tough. Now, I understand not everybody's a Wawa person, not everybody's a fast food person, not everybody. So it's all of that goes into the mix, and that's what we're trying to right size with our partner. And they are on the clock, and the folks on my team that represent the college know I want this to be working well for the students. And the survey data was extremely helpful. We gave it to them. You had 500 responses, so they have to be given an opportunity to synthesize and react and respond to. So it's a great question, something you and I have been working on. You're working on from the student government perspective. I'm working on from the administrative perspective, on my radar, and more to come.
All right, sweet. Thanks a lot for that. The next question asks, why are all the bookstore snacks so expensive?
So again, I don't set the prices of anything in the bookstore, from the books to the snacks. I think it's a case of, that's not their primary business. And so there's a premium that probably gets applied. The challenge is when you have a food vendor that's not open, that vending machines and snacks in the bookstore become your only options once you're on campus. So I get it. It's something that it's the first time I'm hearing of. So I will talk. When we're done here, I will do a walkthrough of the bookstore because I need to know what expensive is. So. Valid question. I don't have an answer as to why. Like if I go in there and a candy bar is $87, I would agree that that's extremely expensive for snacks. I don't think I need to. I guess everything's relative. So I will circle back, and that's something we can talk about next time we convene a What's Up Doc episode.
Sweet.
Okay.
Sure. All right. The next question, will there be microwaves available in Vada Hall and the Sands building like in the other buildings?
So the challenge we have, and I was supposed to look, there's a microwave on the first floor in this building,
yes.
Right? Right. Oh, okay. So we're in the Student Success Center. I think when you compare VODA to science, and we'll jump around to another question because I think it's linked to it. This building is sort of built to eat in a little bit more than the other two. So there's not plans for microwaves installation in those spaces right now, because I think it's not that we don't have an electrical outlet or we don't have the microwave. I think it's just awkward placement would be a non-starter. So I mean, there's a microwave here. You can heat up whatever you need. It's free. You don't need to pay to use it. And I think there's tables. So that's sort of, if I hear more demand for microwave spaces, I'll keep my ear open. But I think right now we have spaces that are kind of designated. They're easily accessed. There's no line. So that would be my response to that one.
All right.
Sweet.
Perfect. So the next question is, how can we control the noise in Success Center since there are no quiet places?
So, yes, definitely. Well, it depends on what day. It depends on the time. And I think as you were asking that question, the 100 people behind us erupted into a cheer. So I guess if I'm going to go back to the other question, the places that there's no microwaves might be the most quiet places on campus. That's a cheat. So that's not entirely true, because there are quiet places in the library on the second floor in the Student Success Center. So they have the doors that you can close. You know what I'm talking about, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? So I would say there are quiet places that are all the time, and then it's we want people to be here and we want there to be activity. So I can't designate in an open 2-story building that's encouraged to be active. It's really kind of impossible for me to designate a quiet space. I would argue the second floor on the Route 38 side is quieter most of the time, but when we're having an event such as a video game tournament, it's definitely a recommendation to go elsewhere. We do have a prayer room that's down the hallway here that can be reserved, and it's not just literally for prayer, but it's for prayer, for meditation, for quiet, and that has a door on it too. So I think between the first floor and the spaces in the library, there are quiet spaces. So that would be my answer to that.
All right, sweet. Thanks a lot. All right, and the next question: what is with all the construction happening in the quad? And actually, just saw some happening next to Route 38 this morning as well.
So right. So I'll start with the say, why are there no quiet spaces? That was a good. It was such a good question that they were cheering for it. So the construction on the quad was actually an unfortunate one, because it was a pipe that broke, and it was tied to our heating. So, and the way the water pipes come in for the heating to our infrastructure, not every building was tied to that. So the week before Thanksgiving, we actually had to close things at night, and because we had to turn the heat off. So that was a very unfun construction project, because it was a major fix. But the good news is they were able to get here. Our facilities guys were on hand throughout the entire project. They oversaw it, and it was fixed within 24 hours. So quad got ripped up, quad got replaced. That's the answer to this specific question. This I actually only saw myself yesterday, so I'll have to get back to you on the 38 dredging project that it looks like is being done. Do we have a better answer than?
Yeah, some of the towns doing to connect the pipe to put
Okay, so it's a township item related to the highway and the water out there. So that's what you're seeing out there.
Sweet. All right. Thanks a lot for that. The next question is, why is it so cold in all the buildings?
So that's a valid question. It's the first time. So I hear a lot of Goldilocks type concerns. What I hear is it's too hot, it's too cold, or it's just right. So I think in every room there's a phone, and next to every phone in every room is 2 phone numbers, right? One for public safety, and is facilities number listed? And AV. So three phone numbers are pre-programmed in all the phones. So my ask of you, if it is cold in the buildings, all the buildings is a universal claim. Some people like it cold, some people like it warm, but there are minimums and there are standards and there are expectations that I have. So my ask is to either be more specific, and you can get back to me. You can send me an email, president@rcbc.edu, or pick up the phone and notify facilities if it is cold in your building, and they can get somebody out. We can check the thermostat. We can check. We have the technology to figure out if it's unseasonably cold, if it's an 8 o'clock class and the timing of the heat, it just hasn't fully warmed up yet. We will absolutely investigate it. But if there's a specific room or a specific problem, let me know.
It's at least pretty nice in here.
It's always nice in here, right? And the irony is this is almost an entirely glass building. So you would think it's going to be like a greenhouse in the summer, which it's not, or it would be freezing in the winter, which it's not. So,
or just don't touch the glass. That's
just don't touch the glass, and don't put your tongue on any metal outside, a la Christmas Story. So you see, you just said it's nice in here. So the why is it always cold in all buildings just got fake news, right? It just got killed. So, but seriously, if to whoever submitted the question, thank you for the question. If you can give me a specific room or building, I'll have facilities team take a look. But like I said, if it comes up and you can't pinpoint it, pick up the phone and let facilities know in real time, and they'll get somebody out.
All right. So I think our question walked through. The next question is, walking between the buildings during the winter is hard with all the wind and the snow that's going on during the winter. Will something be done to make it easier to traverse outside?
So we went from it being too cold in every building to now it's cold outside in the winter in South Jersey, in the northeast sector of the United States. So what we're doing is we're actually putting a bubble over the campus, so it's going to be temperature controlled. I think the challenge is part of the quad establishment, construction, activation was to allow for easier access to the buildings. I understand Mount Holly, you're not walking to Mount Holly from here. I understand our Willingboro location, you're not walking to Willingboro location. And I understand that the health sciences, for its proximity, is closer to Briggs Road than it is to where we're sitting right now. So I understand that, and I think if it's snowing, if it's raining, if it's unseasonably windy, you're absolutely going to be getting in your car, which is just a challenge of not having every building connected. But I mean, will something be done to make traversing outside easier? I don't really, short of, like I froze walking over here today, but I wasn't anticipating building a tunnel or a hallway. I think it's just, we have disjointed buildings. So coats, gloves, hats.
This is when you plug the shop. If you want something to be done, you can come and buy a coat.
There you go.
Sweatshirt or something.
There you go. See, if you came and asked a question, you could be $50 closer to new gloves, a new sweatshirt, or a new hat. And right now, we have 2 more questions that came in advance, and Alex is the only one that asked an in-person question. So you're looking good for this bad boy.
You're gonna be one for winter.
So yes, that's where we are. Winter is hard. Winter is coming. I guess Game of Thrones is over, so that might not be a thing.
All right, thanks for that. So the question that is next is, are we moving the Pemberton's gym into Mount Laurel?
So again, a question that we've received. There is no immediate plan for the construction of a gym on this campus at the moment. We are exploring partnerships with, more permanent partnerships with our temporary partners for our athletics facilities. And we do have a couple of letters of intent that have been recently signed with athletic and gym facilities that are within, I'll say, spitting distance of the campus. So more to come on that. It's premature for me to comment with respect to those, but there's no immediate plan for a gym construction on this campus. Fair question, but that's the answer.
All right. And the last question that we have right now is, will we be getting any more athletic teams such as cheerleading or tennis?
So I guess similar to what Alex is going to be doing later, and similar to what we heard, it was last time when we did this, we had students approach us on the establishment of a cricket team. I will entertain anything if there's sufficient demand. So I will say, this is the first I'm hearing of the establishment of a cheerleading team, because I don't know that there's a competitive component to it. It's not to say you can't establish a men's, women's, co-ed cheerleading team to support the athletic teams that are currently in existence. And as far as tennis, which I don't know with respect to our sector and the other 18 community colleges in the state and the region, so the Penn schools and the Delaware schools, I don't know how many have tennis teams at the competitive level, but start with student activities, start with student government. If there's demand, and they have direct access to our athletic director, who can explain way more about what the landscape for those two sports and any sport. So if there's a sport that's not listed, I don't want to name a sport, because then I'll not name 3 other sports. My point is, if there's interest, if there's demand, your voice has to be shared with our student activities and our student life folks, and that's how it gets back to the administrative leadership, and that's how it ultimately gets to me. So if there's interest, please talk to John, talk to Adrian. They will route you accordingly.
All right.
Fair enough?
Yeah, thank you so much for that.
So any other questions on the stream before we wind it down? So for everybody that submitted questions on Facebook and in advance, we're going to throw the names into, and if you provided your name, into one of our randomizers, and we'll be sure to get information on the lunch gift certificates out. And go ahead. No? Okay. Being distracted. I got Barry in the background. I got Super Smash Brothers. I got
All the energy.
a lot of energy in here. So since I only got one question, and since you were our guest, congratulations, dude.
Well, thank you very much.
Right? It was the best question.
There's a lot of competition there.
A lot of competition.
I'm glad I could take it over.
You had more. But look, you won twice.
Mm-hmm.
You smoked everybody at the tournament. You killed your dad and your brother online, and you asked me the best question in person. The rules were simple. If you asked me a question in person, since you're my co-host, you were ineligible. So, but for everybody else, we'll be in touch. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Best of luck on your
Pleasure to talk to
finals. Always good seeing you, my man. Best of
Pleasure
luck.
to see you as well.
And we'll see you in the spring. Right? We're good. All right. Cool.